What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another late night in the BrewLab with me, Lone Fox, your Brewmaster-in-Chief. And tonight, in the BrewLab, I'm coming at you with another modified deck. And before you start rolling your eyes, it's not another Gruul modified deck, it's not another Boros modified deck. This time we're going with Rakdos, and it's something I've not yet seen before. So I threw the deck together in like freaking 3 minutes. It was just really simple, like a couple of these, couple of those. It all just made perfect sense. And I took it for a spin on the ladder, and the thing absolutely slaps. So I thought I'd better jump on camera and show my subscribers. So without any further ado, let's jump into tonight's brew. Rakdos Modified version 0.1. It's definitely an early version, still some kinks that need to be ironed out, but I'll do the usual. Describe the deck from left to right, try to explain to you why it is that I've picked the cards to go in the deck, how it is that they synergize with the other cards, and the various play lines that we might come across. Then we'll jump into some gameplay footage and hopefully illustrate as many of those play lines and interactions for you against some opponents, so that you get to see the deck do its thing in its entirety, and you can decide whether it's worth your precious wild cards. So and then of course at the end we'll jump back into the deck and we'll discuss potential modifications, upgrades, and sort of overall deck review. So we've got 3 copies of Undying Malice. It's our nod to Tamiyo's Safekeeping or Snakeskin Veil, because we don't have green in this deck. And of course Jund is the logical next step in this modified trend that I've been on, so we'll probably have to try that tomorrow. But Undying Malice is nice for saving our creatures, not from exile effects. It's good against destroy effects. So until end of turn, target creature gains. When this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control, but you get a +1/+1 counter on it. So it's coming back modified, which is great for the rest of, it's kind of the whole point of the deck, right? Then we've got 3 copies of Flame Blessed Bolt as our sort of early game removal. This is the one card in the deck that I'm still mostly uncertain of. It could just be a play with fire, which, can go face, giving an aggro deck some much needed reach. But I have been liking Flame Blessed Bolt. First of all, it can go creature or planeswalker, and then if that thing would die this turn, it gets exiled instead. So I like, opponents turn 1, eye twitch, Flame Blessed Bolt, sorry, you don't get to learn, or you're shambling gas, that sort of stuff. Or, opponent plays their Lolth, -3s, makes the spiders, now it's on 1 loyalty, boom, you Flame Blessed Bolt the Lolth, bye-bye, gets exiled, no more resurrection for you, my dear friend. So I've been liking it, it's been doing the job. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. What other card could we be running in this slot? I was even thinking the other modified removal that I often run, the Flame Discharge instead. We might make that adjustment as we go along. Of course, as usual, any adjustments that we make to the deck will be reflected in the deck list that you can find in the video description down below for you guys to go copy and enjoy. Which brings us to Kumano faces Kakkazan, of course. Such a sweet little saga. I absolutely cannot get over it. This thing's so good, it's starting to show up in historic RDW decks instead of the Fervent Champion, So the first chapter, great, a little bit of drain, nothing spectacular, but the real fun starts happening on chapter 2. So the various interactions here are many. You can play something like your Kalain on turn 2, on top of the second chapter. It'll come into play as a 2/3 and make a treasure token. Then on turn 3, you play a 3rd land. Now you've got 4 available mana. You can play your Thundering Raiju on turn 3. It'll come into play as a 4/4. You can attack. Of course, at that point, your Kumano will have flipped into the Etchings, which also has haste. So then when you attack, the Thundering Raiju says that you put a +1/+1 counter on a target creature you control. Then Thundering Raiju deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of modified creatures you control other than it. So at that point, in that particular play line, the last card left that you'd have on the battlefield that isn't modified is the Etching of Kumano. So you put the +1/+1 counter on it. So you get maximum damage out of the second part of Thundering Raiju that says that it deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of modified creatures you control other than it. So you want to put those counters, on any creature that you have left that isn't modified. So in that playline, that would be like 4 damage, +3 from the Kalain, +3 from the from the Kumano. So, sorry, +2. So it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then plus another 2 from the Thundering Raiju. 10, 11 damage on turn 3. Amazing, amazing, amazing playline. But that's not it. We can also play a Shatterskull Charger onto the second chapter of Kumano Faces Kakkazan. The Shatterskull Chargers will keep bouncing back to your hand at the end of turn if it doesn't have a counter on it. But, you know, we've got a few ways of tricking that, either on the second chapter of Kumano, or if you cast it off of the treasure from the Kalain. So pretty nice as well. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Full playset of Kumano, obvious choice. Then, a great reason to be playing Rakdos colors in a modified deck is the Bloodsky Berserker, which is a great little aggressive 2-drop. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, you put 2 +1/+1 counters on it, so it gets modified, and it gains menace until end of turn, so a little bit of evasion as well. Really, really nice. This can grow quite big. We've got lots of cheap spells, so it can often, you know, get those counters put on it twice or 3 times in a game, and it can grow pretty big, pretty quick. So fantastic addition to this modified list. Which brings us to Lethal Exploit, which is a card you've probably never seen before. You know, the modified stuff we got in Kamigawa is in black, red, and green. And this is one of the black ones. It gives a target creature -2/-2 until end of turn for 2 mana instant speed. That in and of itself is already not terrible. But if it gains an additional -1/-1 until end of turn for each modified creature you control as you cast the spell. Which means you can often, you know, do -4/-4, -5/-5. That can deal with your Adelines and things. Great, great little spell. And of course, it's the type of thing that can be brought back from the graveyard by our next card, Bloodthirsty Adversary, which is obvious inclusion. Of course, this is such a sweet card. Like I always say this about the adversaries, and I'll say it again. They make, you know, if you play this on turn 2, it's already great. 2/2 for 2 with haste. You might even be playing it on top of your Kumano second chapter. Great, comes into play as a 3/3, swing in straight away. But then it's also a great 5-drop or an 8-drop. You know, if it comes into play on turn 5, you pay that additional 2 colors and a red, and it puts a +1/+1 counter on the adversary, and you can play an instant or sorcery from the graveyard without paying its mana cost. An instant or sorcery that's mana value 3 or less. Of course, all of the instants and sorceries we have in the deck are mana value 3 or less. So amazing, and of course that card that you'd be casting for free is still being cast, so that'll still count as the second spell on the Bloodsky Berserker. So on turn 5 you play your adversary, that's the first spell, and then you bring back a thing from the graveyard. Second spell triggers the adversary, swing in. Amazing, amazing. Another really great playline. So an obvious inclusion, gone with a 4 of. Then a little bit more removal. We've got 3 copies of the Kami's Flare. You guys have seen this one before, of course, in the modified decks I've been playing of late. It does 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker, and it also deals 2 damage to that permanent's controller if you control a modified creature, which is almost going to be always in this deck. So fantastic, absolute 3 of. Might even have gone with 4, but I wanted like a nice split with the bolt and the other instants and sorceries we have in the deck. Then, another fantastic reason to be playing Rakdos in a modified deck is Kalain. I've already touched upon it briefly when describing the synergies with Kumano and things, but it's not only going to ramp us a little bit with the treasure, but then if you cast creatures with the treasure, they come into play modified, so fantastic. I've gone with a full play set, even though it's legendary, because I almost always want this to be my turn 2 play. To do that play line that I initially described is just amazing, amazing stuff. So we've gone for a full playset of Kalain, the Reclusive Painter. Then, another card which you've probably never seen before, Ambitious Assault. And I read the flavor text for my first time today. In the clangor and chaos of the Aki attack, few even noticed the frogs on their heads. And then I was like, frogs? I looked, and I was like, holy crap, I never noticed those frogs either. Look at that artwork. You got these like flaming frogs on their heads. Amazing, amazing little card. It can be a finisher, you know. You give all your creatures +2/+0 until end of turn. You know, if the opponent's got no blockers, or even if you've got, you know, your Menacer and your Trampler in play, now they're getting an additional +2/+0. Game over. But the added bonus is if you control a modified creature, you also get to draw a card, which it's the only card draw we have in the deck. It's nice to have a little bit of card advantage in an aggro deck like this. Occasional card draw is fantastic, and it is also mana value 3 or less, so it can be brought back with the Adversary, which is another great turn 5 play. You play your Adversary, pay the extra 3, bring back your Ambitious Assault from the yard, pump the whole squad, swing in, draw a card as well. Amazing, amazing stuff. Which brings us to the Shatterskull Charger. I've definitely already touched upon this one. You know, if you don't kick it, it like I said, keeps coming back to your hand. So we've got a few ways of tricking that with the Kumano or the Kalain, but otherwise you can just play it on turn 3 and have this 4-3 hasty trampler guy that keeps bouncing back to your hand, especially against, you know, sweeper heavy matchups, that sort of thing. If they can't remove it, they can't sweep it. You know, if it's not on the board, they can't sweep it. So then you can just keep bringing it back until eventually you get to the 5 mana and you kick it, and then it'll get the +1/+1 counter by itself. Yeah, just a fantastic, aggressive 3-drop with Trample. Absolutely love the Shatterskull Charger. Which, of course, brings us to the top end. We've got a full playset of Thundering Raiju, which I've already described. We don't need to go over this one again. So the mana base, we've got some usual suspects. 1 Den, 1 Hive, 1 Takenuma, 1 Sokenzan, and then some basics and some duels. That's the brew. Rakdos modified. Let's jump into some games. We will definitely be playing on unranked. I've painstakingly clawed my way back into Diamond 3, and I'm not about to, you know, ruin my rank. Anyway, the only deck that's working right now in ranked is mono white. That's what I've been playing to climb my way back up. It's either mono white or, you know, Naya Runes or Esper, Exile, everything. So I'm a bit sick of ranked right now, and I'm probably just going to be playing some fun janky stuff in unranked, and you guys haven't let me know what you think about maybe some brawl action in the comments. I'll keep that. Go for a double Kumano turn 2, hopefully draw a 3rd land, and then play a Shatterskull Charger on turn 3. Yeah, what do you think about maybe a little bit of brawl between now and the 28th when Streets of New Capenna hits Arena? Might be some new fun stuff to play. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. Opponent with dragon sleeves. Could be mono red. And we had the first big monsoon rain in Kenya at the end of the dry season. And it spawned this, like, veritable army of flying ants. Like, I'm talking billions of the things have just come out of the earth, and they're everywhere. So if you guys see me like swatting at stuff, it's flying ants. Aha! Melting faces. Okay. Maybe we get a 2-drop. No such luck. But we hold up the bolt for this Ronin if he plays it again. Oh yeah. Here comes a big charger. Let's see if you can race this. It's definitely a lot of removal that could deal with the... Okay, finds himself a plains. Roll out the Ronin again. Oh, Lion Sash, huh? Sorry, buddy. Hee hee! Oh, baby, I love it. Even though we got some pretty horrible, like, you know, we didn't get that 2-drop on the first Kumano. Still managing to pull off the win. Game 1 victory. Always nice. Setting the mood for the night. Let's try and go undefeated if at all possible. Did not end up going to the party that I mentioned yesterday because of the rain that I just mentioned. It's all muddy and buggy. We didn't want to be at a muddy, buggy outdoor party. Which means I'm not going to be hangover tomorrow, which definitely means I'm playing in the Pizza Box Open. I've already signed up. I have yet to submit a deck list. I think I'm going to go for something that I'm a bit more comfortable with. Rather than Esper Walkers, I might go for the something more aggro. I'm thinking probably mono. Oh, that's fantastic. I'm thinking... Oh, that was such a good hand. Probably go with like mono white aggro, honestly, or like Naya, which are not like top in the meta, but they're still considered tier 1 decks in best of 3, and it's just where I'm more comfortable. So I think I'll probably either play Naya aggro, mono white aggro, or maybe Boros aggro. I still haven't decided. I'm going to submit my deck list at some point tomorrow. I'm going to do some testing in the morning. I haven't played mono white in best of 3, but there's some sweet options to bring in the Guardian of Faith. Okay. I'm not going to play Kumano. I'm just going to hold up the bolt. See what happens. Yes! Perfect. Exactly what I hoped to showcase. No learn trigger for you, buddy. Okay. Oof. This is gonna be fantastic. We get to hold up the Undying Malice to protect the Kalain, and then we can cast the Raiju off of the treasure. Aha! And get a real nice attack in. Baby. Skadoosh. Fortunately, we don't have mana here. Ah, there goes the Raiju. Off you go. I promise you guys, it's a sweet little brew. I definitely recommend it. Just gonna be putting some work in to try and like fine-tune the numbers of things, seeing if there's any other cards that might be good for the deck. But so far, I promise you, I threw it together in like 2 minutes. I just click, 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 click. And I've been playing it exactly as I built it, and it's been just working like really nicely. I think Jund is the obvious next, step in the evolution here. Like we've done Rakdos, we've done Boros, we've done mono red modified. Like I think Jund, it has all the good modified stuff. We can play like what's his name, Kodama of the West Tree, and there's some sweet like green modified cards, and then we can play these other black ones that I've just put in now. Yeah. Damn it! I was hoping for a black source. Okay, we'll just have to hope Either for a black source, so that we can play the Kalain, or another 2-drop, like maybe the adversary. But this is looking like our old nemesis. Okay, no. Probably actually Orzhov. Aha! Lovely. Lovely stuff. Now we get to hold up the Malice off of the treasure. Although it's probably exile if it is Orzhov. Okay. I wouldn't see the reason to be playing Snowlands in white anymore. There's no Faceless Haven, so I'm fairly... Okay. Maybe he's got that one thing that fetches snow permanence or something. Okay. Let's see if he blocks. This will reset the Kumano. It'll come back as the etchings. Which is, I mean, yeah. It'll come back as a saga. Oh, if we get a freaking card next turn, it's going to come into play with 3 +1/+1 counters. Any creature, please not another land. Anything but a land. Another Professor of Symbology. Another Environmental Sciences. I'm starting to worry there's like some Doomskars or something in this deck. Aha! Knew it! Shouldn't have played that. Yeah, there's the freaking Doomskar. No creature is terrible. I think he'll hold up that Doomskar until next turn. Because you might want to, get all 3 of my etchings. Unfortunately, it won't keep the counter because it gets exiled. I think it loses the counter when it goes into exile. Yep. Expecting that. Watch this. Oh, no, wait. Oh, no, no. So silly. So silly. Whoops. So dumb. So dumb. So dumb. I was hoping to... Yeah, that was really stupid. I could have actually... There was a way to do that if I just tapped it for mana. Anyway, my bad. This one's not looking too good. We haven't ended the game already. Aha! Maybe a terrible idea. I have a feeling that that is actually going to end up being the Doomscar now, and I should have kept it for the Thundering Raiju, but let's see. Oh, here comes Doomscar. Yep, he's touching it. Ah, no, it's so stupid. Ah. Oh, even worse. Oh, come on. Oh, what? By the way, there's 22 lands in the deck. Flooding like this is always just so ridiculous. At least they can't get Vanishing Burst. Okay. Oh, come on! What?
Witherbloom is just as dark and musty as I remember.
Witherbloom is just as dark as musty as I remember.
I never thought I'd miss the library.
Terrible flood in the middle there. Not so lucky. On to the next one. How are we doing for time? Perfect. Definitely got a good few matches left in us. I still want to use the one card we haven't yet, which is the, you know, the two goblins with the frogs on their heads. What's it called again? The one that's on the deck box. The living historians are founded by Reiki and Azusa and tattoo Kamigawa's history on their skin. Shifty shifts. Let's get swifty. Nope, that's the mulligan. Absolutely. Not much better at all, unfortunately. And when I see this, I get a little worried. Oh, let's try it. Is it going to be mill? An absolute pity. Is it gamers are always the slowest. Always, always, always. Like, what are you thinking about? It's pretty itching to play that Jawari Disruption. Like, oh yeah. Okay, it's probably not the mill version. This seems like your more standard. Is it a dragon goldspan nonsense? Lear, maybe even Hullbreaker Horror. We did not get a very good start here. I hope we can polish him off. Goes for red, which is cool. We don't have to worry about Fading Hope. Yeah. I also quite like playing it for 3 next turn, holding up 1 mana for the Undying Malice. If he's got removal for it, you play the Undying Malice on it. It comes back with a +1/+1 counter, and it still sticks around at the end of turn. It's a kind of another way of doing it. Second iteration in a row. Ah, it's the Jeskai combo nonsense. Almost certainly. The slowest people. What are you doing, dude? What are you thinking about? How many options could you possibly have? He has to discard a card. I guess that's it. Nice. Hello. Oh crap. He's discarding. Oh. Misplay of the night. Courtesy of Lone Fox. What a misplay. That was really silly. I thought he was going for the 3 damage. Surprised he didn't. Maybe that was a mistake on his behalf. Was that an oops? Yeah. Down to 7. Waste of an Undying Malice. I've got lethal. Goldspan. Somehow get the feeling that he would be happy to have another blue land here. Go on, man. Hello. Wow. Again with the discard. It's just not finding his combo pieces, I'm assuming. Yeah, here we go. It's definitely the Goldspan combo nonsense. If he gets the Goldspan down now, it's probably gonna be game over. Ooh. Decisions, man. Stuff it. I'm gonna go for it. Like, full freaking Shazam. We're not only kicking it, it's also the Kumano, it's also the Kalain. It's coming into play with 3 counters. Does he have Jawari or something like that? Urgh. 7-6. Then we're holding up like a, you know, next turn we get the Kumano and the Raiju if he does have some interaction. Oh, go on, man. Really? It's probably Invoke Calamity. It is. Gross. Yep. Okay. Come on, dude. Just unbelievable. How slow can you be? You have got to be joking, man. Fortunately, there ain't much here that he can get back. 2 damage. Oh, God. And he's got a Cathartic Pyre. Oh. This is enough to drive anybody insane. Get stuffed, man. What a load of bollocks. 2 invoked calamities in a row, ladies and gentlemen. Courtesy of Jeskai, super slow dude. Unbelievable. Ooh. Yay. What a, I don't want to say. He's gonna come in with the cave now. Great, imagine we top deck a Raiju. Tap out, please, by all means. Come on, Raiju. Come on, Raiju. Ah, that's also not terrible. Oh. He's got another freaking Invoke Calamity in hand. For sure. Now the Raiju. Oh. Can you imagine? What the hell? Third Invoke Calamity, baby. Pathetic. Okay, taps out again. That gives me some hope. Whatever, I'll just cast it anyway, just to get the counters. And, you know, we need a blocker here. Yes, baby! Imagine he has Fading Hope in his hand. I'll lose it. Woo! Got him. Good game. Very good game. Alright guys, well, that one went longer than I expected. So we're going to have to leave it at that. But we did manage to end on a victory against a really grindy Jeskai control deck that managed to somehow get his hands on 3 Invoke this Calamities in a row there. Woo! Very nice game. So that's going to be it for tonight's gameplay footage. Let's jump back into the deck and see if I have some final thoughts on the matter. I think, yeah, Flame Blessed Bolt, good. But maybe the Discharge instead. Having that ability to kill bigger things than we usually have the mana for. I think this is probably the better fit. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But that is going to be it for tonight's gameplay footage, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you all tomorrow for some fresh brews. And until then, this is Lone Fox from the BrewLab, signing out. Peace, y'all.